Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Zach, and today I have been testing another product for you guys by Joytutus, and I cannot wait to tell you how it went, so stay tuned guys. Alright, yes, I had another product by the company Joytutus to test out, and I decided to take this opportunity to test this product because a lot of people have this issue. And this issue is storage, specifically for Jeeps. This is going to be about Jeeps, guys, and more specifically JLs, because that is what the product was built for. But what is the issue? The issue is storage, and the storage of being able to store things like their max tracks, their traction boards, their jerry can, or their roto packs, things like that, or even a storage box. There isn't a lot of places to stick those things, and you have to have some kind of mount to do it. Now, y'all know I have been running this Molly panel mounting system on the back windows of my Jeep since earlier this year, and they have been working amazingly. I absolutely love these things, and they are super versatile. As you guys know, on one side I have my shovel mounted, I have the traction boards mounted here, and they do a great job at holding it, protecting the back window, because I've almost broken that, as you guys know, from Moab. And they just work really, really well. But what happens if you have a roof rack, such as like a Rhino rack or an ARB rack, one of those racks out there that requires you to either mount it onto the gutter of the Jeep's roof, or actually mount into the roof itself, and then the little pegs block where these hold. So a system like this, which has fixed legs, wouldn't work. Now, I have met several people like this. Jason, as you guys have seen on my channel before, he has got a Rhino rack, and this won't fit on his Jeep because of where the pegs for the platform for the Rhino rack sits. So what is a solution? What could he use? What could others use to be able to mount their traction boards, roto packs, things like that onto their Jeep? And Joytutus came up with the solution, and I have been testing that. So let's go look at this. And here is that solution, guys. This is what they've come up with. Now, I will get to the whole unboxing aspect of it and putting it all on the Jeep, and then we'll get to my thoughts in just a second. But let me talk you through this. This is a very versatile unit. You have the ability to mount this on here, and these do move. You can move where these are mounted. They slide across here, or you can mount it here and slide it. So you can either have a wider pattern or something in narrow like this, like I have here. Now, the reason I kept it narrow was because, like I said, people have roof racks, they cannot mount that if the pegs are sitting here. So I made this into a narrow configuration for those people that don't have that ability to make it wider. But this was fairly straightforward, and you can mount many different things on here. And if you get creative, you can mount all sorts of things like shovels and stuff. But what they mainly tailor to are traction boards or max tracks, one of the two, it doesn't matter, whatever you got, it'll fit, or roto packs or roto pack type jerry cans that you guys have. It can be mounted on here fairly easily. And honestly, guys, it is a great option. And it is just one of the many options that are out there. But let's go back in time just a little bit, because I've been testing this the past few days. Let's go back to the house and let me show you everything that was in the box and how hard it was to put this together. All right, guys, and here it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it all out of the box, because it's actually quite a bit in this box. And this box isn't super huge, but I'm going to pull it out, lay it all out, and then I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about it. Okay, I have it all laid out now, and I'm going to start by saying this was not packaged nearly as nicely as those mirrors that I tested for this company last time. This box was way more damaged, and this came in a box. That box down there, it was crushed, and that came in a bigger box. And some of these bags, they're ripped, so parts kind of were all over the box, things like that. So I'm not impressed by the boxing at the moment. But what do we have? All right, what we have the actual panel pieces that you mount things to here. We have some of the fasteners that you can use attached to the bolts and the screws and things in here. These are also parts that are going to connect all this together to make it hangable. We have more of the mounting brackets. These are the brackets for if you want to mount traction boards. More mounting brackets, and then the brackets that will mount onto the Jeep and hang down to hold all this in place. So that is all of it laid out. This is what is all in the box, and unlike the mirrors or some of the other things out there, there is some assembly required, which is okay. I don't think this is going to be too complicated, and the instructions seem to depict everything pretty well. So what are some of the stats about this product before we get into the whole building of it? First off, it is for Jeeps only, and specifically Jeep JLs. It is just another mounting solution that you can put over the rear windows of the Jeep to help hold things. Now, what can this hold? This can hold, first off, up to about 60 pounds. That's what they say. It's about a 60-pound max that it can hold. And what they claim and say that it can mount, you can mount your Rotopacks or Rotopack-ish jerry cans, water cans, diesel cans, whatever you may have. You can mount the big ones or two small ones onto this system. You can mount your MaxTrax traction boards to this, and I guarantee you, if you get creative enough, you can mount your shovel, you can mount a box, you can mount all sorts of different things to this. As long as you're not breaking that 60-pound mark, it should work just fine. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble this all in here, and we're going to see just how difficult this is to assemble, and then we will go out to the Jeep and install this. Now, one thing I am going to do with this is I'm going to compare this to the system I already have on the Jeep. So this kit, you only get one side, and so I have the freedom to mount it on whatever side I want. This, according to the instructions, it's not side specific. I can mount it on whichever side. So we're going to mount this, and we're going to do a comparison between the two to see how it works, and then I'll catch back up with you guys where I left you. But according to the instructions, this has an estimated installation time of 30 minutes. Now, I'm not going to film a whole 30 minutes of this, but I'm going to get into this and see what it looks like. So far, I am not exactly impressed with this whole system. First off, the instructions don't tell you you need other tools. So if you don't have basic tools laying around your house, you're not going to be able to put this together at all. And second, they just didn't package things very well. All the bolts, nuts, everything were just thrown into a bag. Just willy-nilly thrown into a bag. So I've got nuts and bolts all over a table, trying to depict what that is, because in the instructions they don't look very clear on which nut and bolts you're supposed to use. And then going through the instructions make perfect sense on how this is supposed to go, but it is just a very time-consuming process. They could have at least pre-assembled a lot of this for you, instead of making you go through the hassle of bolting all this together. So this part right here, you connect the smaller piece to the larger one using these nuts. Well, this slides, so you can adjust it. I'm guessing so when you install this on the Jeep, you can, put it on there and then tighten it down. So I would highly recommend not tightening these all the way, just tightening them enough that you can still slide this up and down, and then be prepared to tighten it down once it's on the Jeep, because if you tighten it down early, you're just going to have to undo it. Okay guys, so this is the back of it assembled. They wanted you to assemble it like these pegs onto these strips right here that you can see. They wanted you to use the inner ones because then you have the adjustability to move these out further, in further. You could even put it here if you wanted, but they're trying to leave that area open so if you mount your Rotopacks or your traction boards, you have the bigger slots to be able to mount it on there. So this is what it is, and yes, I made it so that this part was moved in closer because I feel that this is going to be a great solution for a lot of people that have roof racks, especially like the Rhino rack and some of the other countries like ARB. Their roof racks come with those mounts on top of the roof of the Jeep that would get in the way if these were much wider, where if these are in closer you have a better mounting spot and can actually use this. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, like I said, I left these bottom ones loose. These bottom ones right here loose because we have to mount this to the Jeep. This still has to move. So until we get this mounted to the Jeep, we have to wait. Now, another thing to note, this is the top, that's the bottom. The bottom has this lovely little rubber parts that are gonna hook up under the fiberglass and the frame. And then once you get this sat up top, you can tighten those. But with up here, you have to use these bolts, and it's just going to go through and tighten down and holds it. Olay. It's going to go down, tighten this, and hold it in place on the Jeep. Now that seems fairly straightforward, yeah. But let me shed some light on some things, because this is the time for me. I did not care for this product. There are many different factors. Does it work? Yes, this product works. It actually does what it says it's going to do, just like the mirrors, just like the trash bag that I use. It actually works. I can mount my Max Tracks on here. They stay in place. They can be carried. Now, I don't have roto packs. If I did, I'd have mounted those on there to give that a test. I carry a jerry can. It's not going to fit on there because, like I said back at the house, this has a weight capacity of about 60 pounds. And honestly, I wouldn't put more than that onto these because these legs, for all intents and purposes, though they are a nice metal, they are not the sturdiest things. But the reason I did not care for this product was, one, the way it came in the box, how everything was just kind of just tossed into it. It wasn't well packaged. I didn't care for that. Two, this had a lot of assembly that needed to be done. Everything needed to be put together, had to be mounted, it had to be screwed in, and when it came to mounting this to the Jeep, not only did you have to have these four screws loose, you then had to stick these on here, mount the legs up top, and then try and hold this with one hand while you stuck the leg up there and tried to screw in the screw on top to then continue to hold this to do it to this side as well. It just was not a very nice, friendly way of installing it. It made it really, really difficult to do. Now, I do like the fact that they actually came with these lovely bolts, can be moved to various places for whatever you're installing, and it does come with the nice little screws that go on top of there so you can easily mount and pull things off. One thing I didn't like is this is just a screw. You then have to put a bolt here and a bolt here. It wasn't like a nice bolt or concrete screw that you stick through. It's got a backing, and then you just got to put one thing here. You've had to do that, which was super difficult to do because you needed more tools, because the instructions said you only needed these certain tools, and in reality you didn't. The other thing I don't like, it moves terribly, absolutely terribly. I cannot stand the fact that I have moved I have gone on the trail with these. I have moved these legs out to this as far as I could so I could still mount the tracks on here, and I have kept them in at this position. It didn't matter where I put them, this thing shakes like crazy, and it comes loose. You have to use something like Loctite or something on these bolts, because this, just driving here, is already loose. And it's just so flimsy. I put the boards on here and it shakes driving down the road because of the wind passing over on the trail. They do shake when the Jeep shifts its weight. The weight of the boards on there makes this shift even more, which then loosens it. And I crank these bolts super tight and they still come loose, and I'm still cranking them. The only bolts that never have come loose are these four right here. I don't know why, they just haven't. And honestly, guys, it's the way it mounts to the Jeep that doesn't mount underneath onto the body. So there's a lip to the body of the Jeep underneath this fiberglass. It doesn't mount to that, it just mounts to the fiberglass. And up here it just mounts to this, which is fine, but this isn't one solid piece, this is two pieces held together by one screw. Because it comes loose all the time, I don't like it. So, yeah, it's got its pros and cons, but if you're asking my true opinion, I don't like this product. I'm not a fan of it, and I won't personally continue to use this product. I prefer my other system that I have on here. It's way sturdier and stronger and protects a lot more, holds more, a lot. All right, guys, now you have heard my thoughts, you know, my opinion on it. You've seen the unboxing of it, you've seen me put it on the Jeep, you've seen me mount the match tracks to the Jeep here. You know, guys, for what it is, it works. It's a little expensive. It's about $150 a side. So this side is $150, it's another $150, it's $300 per side. It's a little expensive for what it is. Does it work? Like I said before, yes, it works great. If you want to mount something, it's going to mount it, it's going to hold it. Will it come loose? Yes, I recommend Loctite. Is it another option? Yes, it is not the only option. And as you guys now know, it's not an option I would necessarily use, but it does work. They do, you know, the company does make some good products. I love the mirrors that I've tested. I've been using them since it's been nice and fall. As the weather started cooling down here, doors have been back on lately. And I love their trash bag, guys, and some of their other products out there. I bet they are really good. But this is just not one of them that I'd use, just being honest. Well, thank you all for joining me today while I test out this product. If you guys would like to check out this product, there is a link in the description below, or you can use that link to go ahead and check out some of their other products they have on Amazon, because they do have quite a few products that are for Jeeps and for exploration altogether. Also in the description are links to my other social media accounts. Guys, as you guys can see, certain things have been happening to the Jeep in the background, and that is where I am keeping you guys updated on. As I'm able to do more will be happening to this Jeep. Also, links to a bunch of parts that I use on this rig behind me are also in the description below. Go ahead and check out some of the other videos that I've got out here, guys. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You guys are what makes this channel happen. And I am trying to get her to grow, guys, and we are so close to my goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We are getting there. I am very excited. Otherwise, guys, thank you again, and I'll catch you all next time on Exploration Overland.